So we got another Pontiac beside it. It's a G5 now.
Very, very good.
I like it. It pretty much has a similar body towards the Chevy Cobalt, but I'll prefer the Chevy Cobalt better than this.
I would too. I would not. But you can't talk bad about this car. So it's pretty much the same thing.
So you know, if you were to buy a Pontiac, there's 3 Pontiacs that are like the best that everyone knows. One is the Trans Am, which is pretty old.
Trans Am.
And you have the Grand Am, which is a proper middle class sedan,
which we talked about earlier.
And you have the Pontiac, not a G5, not a G3, but a G8.
A G8.
You don't see a lot of people driving that. Check it out, Pontiac G8. It has a V8 engine. Pontiac's first V8 engine car ever made. It's really sporty. You gotta see it. I'm not joking. And I presume it's made by Australians.
But it's a Korean car, so
it's GM. So, and the parts are made by Australians. Now we have here a nice Hyundai Elantra.
This is the Korean car I was talking about.
This is a Korean car. My uncle rented this once, and we had like 4 people in, and we're just like chilling. We're listening to nice music. Speaker system on this thing is not bad, pretty decent.
And it doesn't look that bad. I like the taillights and I like the rear.
For a car that's probably near 10 grand, it's not bad for your money.
I think it's really good choice. And I think it's a new model too.
I mean, I'll prefer this as a substitute than a Toyota Corolla 2010 maybe, if you choose to do that. I don't know.
But they do have a lot of commercials about this car.
Yes, there is. Next,
now we move on to minivans.
We have a Toyota Sienna.
No, we don't have twins. Oh, yes, we do.
We have a Toyota Sienna, and the twin, as you can see, is right there.
The demented one, the CE.
Yeah, so about the Toyota Sienna, if you've seen the 2011 one, and
which I did see today.
Yes, that's pretty amazing. The morphed Toyota Camry, you could say. And if you've seen the Honda Odyssey, basically the morphed Honda Accord, if you could see that, right? So
I see that.
I see that. Those are like the most. Those are like the new full-size vans you could buy for this year.
And I guess they're pretty much worth their money.
And while as you have the Nissan Quest, it's not full anymore. They decided to decrease their space a bit and make it more sleeker. So
they're trying to get into sportiness, you know, Nissan.
They're more of like they're trying to make it that, you know, it's Japanese, it's true Japanese, all sleek, all small, you know. So some people like that. I like that, but I'll prefer the full size if you want that huge amount of space.
So what do you say about the LE? Is it good or no?
So the LE is a decent trim you could get for any Toyota.
Yeah, I would say.
Now we
move on to our first BMW, a 325xi.
Yeah, it's a black.
A very, very nice car.
And as you can see, it has a resemblance of the BMW M3.
Which, wow.
Well, the sedan version, not the coupe. The coupe and the sedan, but it matches the sedan more.
But this is the more sophisticated one, actually. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, you could say that.
It's just, wow. I mean, if I'm not wrong, BMW never made a bad car, have you?
Nope.
No.
I don't
get this, so. You're just pretty much getting much for your money.
The worst BMW you could probably get is the old version of whatchamacallit. You know the convertibles that BMW made?
Oh.
Well, there's the Z4. And
Z4 is, yeah.
Well, there's the older version of the Z4, and like if you have like the engine on that thing is just too crazy for the car. It's just too crazy.
And there is the M1, which we don't really see these days.
Yeah.
But
and people hardly ever knew there was an
M1. But it did start the trend of M3s and M5s and M6.
And hence the X3M and the X5M and the X6M
and the X1.
Actually, there's not an X3M, but there's an X5 and X6M. Well, anyway, let's move on to this nice Toyota Corolla.
Yes, it's a Corolla, but it's the LE. So, as Shang mentioned before,
it's a luxury edition.
It's a great trim for any Toyota.
Any Toyota, yes, it is.
Though it may not look like it, it is really nice trim.
It's a good first car.
There's a quarter in there.
It really is a good car to drive. If, you know, it's really good.
It's quite spacious, better than the 2000 model one.
Here we have an older model of the Ford Focus,
which is pretty much the major competitor for that Golf GTI back there.
Yep. especially when it comes to rally sport.
Yes, that's why they stay far apart from each other.
So you can see it has nice wheels right there.
I see. Let's look at those racing seats.
And look at those brakes right there and the brake calipers.
Enough room for your 2.2 kids back there.
You can honestly see the high class brake calipers right there.
Yes. The spoiler is just something you would question about. Why would they put it there? It's just
aerodynamics. I don't know.
Really? Aerodynamics? Well, I mean, it's hard to believe why would they put a spoiler on a hatchback.
Or it could be the fact that they want more drag in the rear.
But it's a hatchback. It's obviously look at the size. You can see all the weight that's pushed down. I don't think they really need it, but
I guess it gives the fun part about a Focus. You know?
It does.
I guess it does. You know. So
SVT one.
It's a SVT, so you know it's an advanced Ford.
Here we have the Demented Twin by Sienna, which. Well, what can we really say about it?
It's pretty much the same thing, except it's a CE, so you know it's the cheapest trim you could ever get for a Toyota.
The most basic one.
Okay. Yeah, the most basic one too. So I guess we'll have to.
We'll just mosey on over onto this side. We got a nice white.
We got a nice pickup truck right there, Dodge Ram.
Which a cameraman did not get.
Oh, it just went by.
But we got a nice Ford Escape white XLT.
Yup, so you know if you buy a white vehicle, you know what they say, high insurance.
Yeah.
Well, the reason to that is because, say for example, it's the morning and it's just foggy out. If you were to reverse, you know, your eyes could be, you know, tricking you into knowing that there's not a vehicle there. So you better watch out from that. But other than that, the Ford Escape is a good vehicle.
They never made a bad Ford. And just look at it. I mean, it's not the newest one, but it's still very good at its class.
Yes, it is.
Luxury.
I agree.
I mean, just take a look.
Look at the nice Ford interior.
Okay, he has 3 packs of gum. You probably must get a lot of looks at him.
Yeah. Never know. If there were hormonal gum, though.
And here we have a Subaru